Okay guys, let's talk about the electrical symbols in more detail. We're going to start by start and stop push buttons. Now, first let's see what kind of components or sub-items we got in such equipments, in such buttons. Like what exactly they are made of, and then after that, let's see how they work. For example, we got this copper-made bar, and then there's a couple of contactors, and then a spring set underneath the bar. Now guys, the first image is titled normally opened. This means that there's no electrical connection in between the contactors. Now guys, when we push this bar down, that electrical connection would be created in between the contactors through the bar, obviously. And as a result, an electrical current would be created and it would move from one contactor all the way to the other one. And when we remove our finger, in other words, when we stop pushing the button, the electrical current that we created would simply stop. All right? Now, let me move to the next slide. Here we go. Now, what we got here, guys, is a real image of a start-stop push button. Also, there's a couple of terminals, number 3 and 4. And, according to the IEC standard, this would be the exact symbol that we usually use for such push buttons. And this one would be the symbol that we usually use if we are working based on NEMA standards, which is an American one. Okay, now I've prepared a clip for you as well. In the clip, you can see how exactly these buttons work. Here we got the terminals, number 3 and 4. And, there's a green button set on this side. When we push it down, one of these two might happen. We might open the contactors. We would create normally open, or we might close them down. All right, moving on to the next slide, we have the stop push button. Now, first and foremost, guys, the normal version or the normal mode for these sorts of buttons would be this one that is in fact titled normally closed. So, in fact, we can get that the electrical current is actually moving in between the contactors, in between the terminals. And exactly the same as in the last button, if we go ahead and push the button down, the electrical current would simply stop. And obviously, when we stop pushing the button, when we remove our finger, the electrical current would appear again. It would be created all over again. So that's the reason why we exactly call this stop push button a normally closed push button. All right? Now, again, in the next slide, we can see a real image for such equipments, for stop push buttons. Again, we have a couple of terminals, this time number 1 and 2. And again, we have two versions for its electrical symbols, one from IEC standard. And as I said, this symbol would be the American version. Now, let's check another clip as well. Let's see how exactly this button works. As you can see, we have the terminals, number 1 and 2. Then on the other side, we have another button. This time, instead of green, we have red. And as I said, we can use this button for stopping the electrical current. And again, guys, remember, the normal situation of such buttons is actually normally closed. And when we push it down, we open the contactors. By the way, guys, both start and stop push buttons are actually counted as an extremely useful electrical equipment. And we're going to discuss and understand this fact more completely later on.